Greetings and welcome back to the Osha Cerese Show. I am your host, Osha Cerese, and this is your daily reset. This is where we talk about all the things. This is where culture meets coaching, where healing meets headlines, and where we utilize alchemy to transmute gossip into growth. So we don't just scroll and consume what's going on in the headlines, what's the latest tea, what's going on the blogs. We are taking what's trending and pulling the lessons from it to see how we can apply them to our lives. So, welcome back. Again, I'm Osha Cerese. I am a certified life coach. I am a wonderful event curator and your dream doula, helping you to birth your ideas into reality. So, happy Friday. As you can see, I'm here at the 11th hour. Really, the 12th hour is technically Saturday because it's midnight. I think this is the first time I wasn't able to get here by 11:59, but it's still the Friday night show. This is episode 33. We're going strong. Remember, y'all, I told y'all this is a weekday show now, so I wanted to make sure I showed up tonight because I'm taking the weekend off. It's been a long day, but I made it. We're here. Drink of the evening. Doesn't look that appetizing, but this is some almond milk with cinnamon and agave in it. I just wanted something comforting. I'm not really just a gulp down milk type person. Again, this is almond milk. But I wanted something a little sweet. So cheers to happiness, great health, abundance, success, love, joy, bliss, meaningful connections, genuine connections, meaningful conversations, ease, alignment, all of the good things. Cheers to that. Cheers to a great show as well. Cheers. I love the way that cinnamon smells. Mm. All right, y'all. It is Friday and it is still the month of March. So we are celebrating Women's History Month all month long. And today's Women's History Spotlight is dedicated to the beautiful, talented, amazing Viola Davis. So Viola Davis was born August 11th, 1965. Hold on, y'all. Got something on my lip. It's throwing me off. She was born the same day as my grandmother. I didn't know that. Leo gang. August 11th, 1965 in St. Matthews, South Carolina. As one of 6 children, her family relocated to Central Falls, Rhode Island during her early years. She has often spoken about her challenging upbringing marked by poverty and hardships. Despite these obstacles, she discovered her passion for acting in high school, which led her to pursue theater at Rhode Island's Rhode Island College, graduating in 1988, the year I was born. Y'all see it? Y'all know I represent my 1988. In June 2002, she married actor Julius Tenen. The couple adopted their daughter, Genesis, in October 2011. Davis is also a stepmother to Tenen's 2 sons from previous relationships. Together, they founded Juvie Productions, aiming to bring diverse stories to the forefront. So she had her career started with theater. She made her Broadway debut in 1996 with 7 Guitars, earning a Tony Award nomination. She later won Tony Awards for her performances in King Hedley II in 2001 and Fences in 2010. Her portrayal in Doubt in 2008 garnered her an Academy Award nomination. She received widespread acclaim for her role in The Help in 2011 and earned another Oscar nomination. In 2017, she won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for Fences because she cut up. She did that. Her performance in Ma Rainey's Black Bottoms in 2020 led her to another Oscar nomination. From 2014 to 2020, she starred as Annalise Keaton in the series How to Get Away with Murder, making history as the first African American woman to win the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series. I hate to say it, but I have not watched How to Get Away with Murder. I believe I've seen maybe a snippet of an episode or two, but that's going to be on my watch list along with a couple others that I haven't seen. I was a Scandal girly. I didn't watch How to Get Away with Murder, but I will. In 2023, she achieved EGOT status by winning a Grammy Award for the audiobook for her memoir, Finding Me. And there's not too many Black people, Black women who have EGOT status. I want to say Whoopi Goldberg, Jennifer Hudson, and Viola Davis. I don't have it written down, but let me see. Let me just fact check. Let's see. Yeah. And the only other person who's Black that has EGOT status is John Legend. So Whoopi Goldberg, Jennifer Hudson, and Viola Davis. See, I be knowing my stuff. I don't always have to fact check because I be knowing the facts. So yes, she has again talked about her early life facing challenges like growing up in poverty and facing systemic racism. And of course, those experiences have fueled her advocacy for diversity and representation in Hollywood. And I wanted to bring her up too as well, because yesterday on the show we talked about having a list, and we talked about men and women having lists of what they want from a potential partner, and how sometimes there could be a little controversy surrounding that topic, which is crazy to me because I'm like, what's wrong with creating a list? But the reason why she ties in with that is because of how she pretty much manifested her own husband. So it wasn't necessarily a list, but it was a prayer. So we talk about Sierra's prayer. Listen to this. Wait till the ad is over. Hold on. That's a huge. One second. I do not own the rights to this interview audio, but let's play it. Wedding anniversary? Yep, I had a wedding anniversary, 19 years, June 23rd. I want to be like that. 19 years. 19 years. What's the trick? Like, how did y'all meet? And then what's the trick of being able to stay together 19 years, 25 years? You got to choose the right person, first of all, because I had a few people before that, but it was not a good choice. But I prayed for my husband, Jennifer. Yes, ma'am. Yep. So it's like 23 years ago, because we dated for 4 years. 23 years ago, I'm doing a play, and a friend of mine said, "Why don't you have a man?" And I said, "I don't know. I think I'm fabulous." You are fabulous. And so he said, "Well, have you prayed for a man?" I said, "No, I haven't, because if I pray to God, he's going to say, 'Viola, who are you?'" I hadn't been in church for the longest time. I said, "No, I haven't prayed." He said, "This is what I want you to do. I want you to go in your room." We were doing a play, Williamstown Theater Festival. He said, "Go in your room, get down on your knees." He said, "You know what you want, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I know what I want. I know what I want." He said, "You really know what you want? Like frivolous stuff and really important. You know what you want." I said, "Let me tell you, I know what I want." And he said, "So get down on your knees. You ask God for everything." I said, "I'm not going to do that." Let me tell you something. I went back into my room. I thought about it for about 5 minutes, and I got down on my knees. And that's where I got down on my knees, hands together, and I said, "Let me tell you something, God. You haven't heard from me in a while. My name is Viola Davis. This is a direct call from Williamstown Theater Festival." Okay.
And I said, this is what I want. I want a big black man. I said, no, wait. He don't really have to be black, but I really want to be the big black man. And I want him to be from the South. I want him to be country. I want him to love you. I want him to already have been married, had children, so he don't put any pressure on me to do that. And I said, I love football players, God. I said, that's on the frivolous list, though. Okay. But I love football because they're cute. They're all of that. And then I said, and I would love for him to be in the arts in some way. I literally said that. Mm-hmm. That was everything on my list. And I said, and God, I said, listen, if you give me all of that, I promise I'll go to church. I'll start going on a regular basis. You've been to church, Viola? Now, I went to church after that now, Jennifer, because 3.5 weeks later, I met Julius William Tennant. Oh, my God. An ex-football player from Texas, raised his 2 children on his own, an actor, and the first thing he did was he invited me to church. And I'm going to tell you what the icing on the cake was. I got baptized at that church in a Speedo. In a Speedo? Because I said, Jules, I can't get baptized. I just did this hair. You put that in water. He said,
if you want to listen to the rest of the interview, it is on Jennifer Hudson Show page. And it's titled, Viola Davis Met Her Husband 3 weeks after praying for her ideal man. So I did leave that part out yesterday when I was talking about the list, which is why I wanted to also revisit this conversation, because I talked about writing the list and, being very specific, writing down the important things, the physical attributes, the personality, the values, the interests, all of those things, compatibility in every way. Then I also mentioned, categorizing it on your non-negotiables versus things that you would be willing to waver on, your deal breakers, even, writing down what your red flags are. And then I mentioned writing down how you want to be as a partner as well, and becoming that, and really looking at your list of your potential partner or your desired partner and determining whether or not are you your type's type. Like, really looking at what the man or the woman that you created from this list, what do they do, what are their interests, where do they frequent, and then would they be attracted to who you are in this moment. Do you all really align? I also talked about how you want to feel in that relationship, like really determining and thinking about how you want to feel, and then tapping into the energy of that feeling, meditating on it and all of that, sitting with that energy, feeling like it's present at this moment. The other part of it, of course, is prayer. So, of course, I personally feel like God is not going to give us anything that we're not ready for. So all of the things have to come together. Faith without works is dead. So Miss Viola Davis probably was in a position where she was able to align perfectly with the man that she asked for. And she really didn't ask for much. An athletic type man, football player, big black man from the South, who loves the Lord, who's already been married and have children, and is in some type of art. So she got exactly what she wanted. She made her promise to God. She showed up. She got baptized. It aligned perfectly. So, there's a formula that we all have to be willing to do. So, um, I'm in the same boat as y'all. I haven't quite there. I haven't quite prioritized love as much as I feel like I have, because I got so many other things that I'm working on, focusing on. But then we have to realize, y'all, especially us ladies in our 30s, we want love. We don't want to sit around and wait and turn around and be in our 50s, 60s, 70s like, damn, I was prioritizing all these things. I do definitely believe that you can be in love and have a relationship while you're working on other things, but we have to be more intentional about being intentional about love. So don't think I don't be taking my own advice, y'all. Um, Something else that I just said made me think of something else. Um, it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. It was something about, yeah, it'll come back. So I just wanted to share that and give people hope. We always talk about the Sierra prayer because, we want to hear the prayer too, honey. You got a nice relationship, but Viola's prayer is pretty dope as well. So cheers to Miss Viola Davis as the Women's History Month spotlight of the day. Let's get into these topics. And again, thank you all for tuning in. If you are watching live or if you watch the playback, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. The show lives here. Somebody reached out to me the other day and was like, I was looking for your old episodes. I don't know how to find them. They're on YouTube and they're under live video. So I'm updating the videos because some of them don't have thumbnails and descriptions and titles. I know. I know. I'm updating them though. So at least 8 or 9 of the episodes are updated so that if you want to specifically look back for a certain topic, you'll be able to see it. Otherwise, just, fiddle through the episodes and you might find something interesting. So, um, I wanted to talk today about a few things that have been trending. So, I saw a post. Let me go to the post and read it verbatim, honey. I saw a post going around. I don't know if y'all know that Nelly, the rapper Nelly, used to be with a lady named Shantel Jackson. She was also with Floyd Mayweather in the past. And they were together for years, actually. Let's see the timeline. I don't know if I put that in my notes. Let me see. Let me see if I put that in my notes. Absolutely not. So, okay. So they were together for 6 years before breaking up. Um, they began dating in 2014. And it just said, from what I see here, it says Jackson announced the breakup on Instagram after a fan asked if she was still with Nelly. Jackson said they are just friends. In October of 2020, Nelly told Entertainment Tonight that he believed Jackson was the one. And when asked if there was a possibility of an engagement for the pair, Nelly said they were working towards it. Prior to Chantel, one of the most public relationships Nelly has had was he dated Ashanti from 2020 or 2003 to 2013. According to her, I think she said it was a little longer than that. And they rekindled their relationship 10 years after their breakup in 2023. And now they are married and they have a child. So the post that I saw that has been circulating um, over the past couple of days is as follows. It says, Nelly's ex Shantel Jackson said she left him to see if space would bring them closer. This ninja had a baby and got married. Ladies, play stupid ass games, win stupid prizes. So she does say that she left him, and her thought was that, you know, if they took a break, maybe it would bring them closer. I'm going to say this. I wanted to talk about this because I've seen these type of situations, scenarios go multiple ways. So even if it's not really a relationship, somebody's talking like I'm not a long term relationship, but like a short term relationship. Say you've been talking for a little while, you might even be official, but then maybe somebody gets mad, and instead of just communicating, they go ghost, feeling like, oh, they're gonna come chase behind me, or we'll work it out. Sometimes absence doesn't make the heart grow fonder. Um, I've had somebody try that trick on me, and really, I feel like if you not gonna reach out, you're really just giving me the tools and emotional space that I need to get used to getting over you. Basically, get used to not being with you. So sometimes you do that absence stuff, trying to play games or trying to play hard to get, or trying to see if you can get somebody to run up behind you, and I'm sure the person is probably feeling away at first, but then after a while, it's like, Okay, now I'm used to being without you. So then when you come back around because your trick didn't work, they're not interested anymore. And then we talked about this recently as well. I think with men do not leave relationships. At least the statistics tells us that men do not initiate divorce nearly as much as women. I believe it's 80% of women initiate the divorce. And even with relationships, just from doing my research, being in like the dating space, and just people that I know in my close circle, a lot of times men will stay in a relationship even if they're unhappy, even if they've moved on with seeing other women and everything, and wait for the woman to be the one to break up. So I'm not saying that Nelly wasn't happy with Shantel. I don't know what they had going on in their relationship, just using it as an example. Sometimes you play that trick like, oh, I'm gonna leave, let's take a break and let's see what happens, thinking it'll bring you closer, but you just gave him the outs. Like, he might have been waiting on you to go head on. Honestly. And again, I'm not talking about her specifically, but I'm just using that as an example that that probably was, I don't want to keep pointing at their relationship, but doing that to a man that is not happy will be like the perfect solution for him, because it's like, okay, we're mutually going our separate ways, taking a break so that we can see if it brings us closer. And meanwhile, he's thinking like, yes. Um, I've seen men sabotage the relationship but still not leave, like just do little things, like get caught doing something purposely, or just be careless with what they're doing so that they hope they'll get caught so that the woman will leave. I don't get it, guys. Why don't y'all just break up with women when y'all not happy no more? Your happiness matters too. So it would be much better for you to just put your big boy draws on and communicate that you think it will be best that you go your separate ways versus wasting your own time and the woman's time. Like, both of y'all could be finding your person and being with who you're supposed to be, but you're in this relationship. Why? I don't get it. Any fellas watching, y'all tell me why y'all do that. And I'm not saying that it's everybody, but most of the time, um, guys are sitting there waiting for the woman to leave. And again, I don't get it. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it with guy friends of mine, and I'm just like, why don't you just have a conversation with her? They don't let me know what the problem is. So again, just when you're gonna take a break, you gotta know the intentions behind the break and kind of be on one accord. Like, are we taking a break so that we really can work on ourselves during this time and, you know, focus on ourselves to get certain issues taken care of? Do we need individual therapy? Do we what is the break for? Because what's the point of taking a break if you're not happy? Just break up. I mean, if you're married and you're invested, or if it's a long term relationship, I get that it's easier said than done. But if you've tried everything that you can as a couple, I don't know about break show. But understanding the reasons and setting clear boundaries is definitely crucial, because if you're taking a break, that means that you're still somewhat committed to each other, no? How do breaks work? Because everybody always says when all of a sudden there's a new baby that comes along that's outside of their relationship, they all of a sudden start calling it a break baby. We were on a break. Were you? Or are you just telling people that? Because, okay. But yeah, I do think that men might view breaks a little differently. Like, sometimes they see that as an opportunity to move on without having to do the difficult conversations, the uncomfortable conversations. Um, and maybe women more often than not look at it for a chance to seek clarity, thinking that it's going to bring them closer. So it really just depends on, do you all really want to be together? And if one person doesn't want to be together, then that's just an escape route. So I don't know. Y'all tell me how you feel about breaks. I don't know how I feel about that. And speaking of men not wanting to be the one to leave the relationship. There's a couple of other viral things going on today, um, in the blogs. And I won't speak today and yesterday, I think. I won't speak on it too much because it is their business. And I'm not going to speak on it too much because I don't know how a man feels in this situation. I don't know how it feels to co parent as being the biological parent, but I will share some stories of being a step parent. So, two different scenarios, two different age groups, two different types of guys, similar situations. Dr. Umar and DDG. So, yesterday, Dr. Umar's 22-year-old daughter publicly called him out for being absent in her life. Um, she said that he's never been to anything, any important game or anything in her life or whatever. And she said that she reached out to him to find out if she had a sister because she wants to know her sister. She wants to be in her sister's life and guide her. She thinks that she has a 15-year-old sister, so she just reached out to him to try to get the contact information. Dr. Umar responded and was just like, he basically called his daughter a struggle streamer, feeling like she's trying to use him for clout because he sees that she's trying to build her channel or her page or whatever. He's feeling like she's using him for clout, and he suggested that she go talk to her mother and ask her mother why he hasn't been in her life, and he's willing to have a public conversation between his daughter and his daughter's mother. And he said he will be bringing his, as he said, white man's paperwork. So I guess he will be able to present his receipts of being in and out of the court system to maybe the effort that he's given to be in his daughter's life. So there's a lot of comments and opinions about what's going on with him. He didn't already said if anybody is minding his business, he's blocking them and putting them on the what did he say? The Negro list, the Negro paper, or something. I'm not trying to talk about your business, Dr. Umar. Don't block me. I'm just talking about the overall conversation, really. So people in the comments are saying, someone said this. Hold on one second, Joe. Sorry, y'all. I'm back. I'll tell y'all later what's going on. But anyway, so somebody said, this is insane. I'm sorry. Somebody said, "This is the issues with my dad. I'm almost 33. I tried, but you could have tried as well. Missed both graduations, and the list goes on. Thank God for therapy and prayer." Um, he handled his daughter just like the black men he tells us not to be with. Um, that was a woman as well. A man said, "When woke people need to take a nap." Another man said, "LOL, these jokes write themselves." Someone else said, "I've written many times about how most black male conscious leaders are only goddess worshippers until women stop making them the sun of their solar system. A lot of copper bangle and ankh boys are still misogynistic and sexist. They still only love women from control and male supremacy. Same patriarchal BS, dressed in a kufi or a kaftan, peace goddessing you to death. Waiting for the men to hold him accountable. Pander forever, raise your kids never. Damn. So they're working even harder to get Dr. Umar now, I see. His response is giving, he ain't practicing what he's preaching. A man said, he said a whole bunch of nothing. Either you in your daughter's life or not. I don't care what the mother doing. They old enough to have a personal relationship with you, 15 and 22. I didn't know it was revolution before relationships with your daughter. So, another man said, unpopular opinion, people have to stop blaming the other parent when y'all are not there for your kids. Um, I wanted to see some of the comments that they're pretty much, everybody is pretty much feeling the same way. I did see a couple of people that were questioning, um, you know, the fact that he is saying that it was the mother. And, but most everybody is like, okay, regardless of what the drama was with your baby mama, your daughter is an adult, so you all can kind of start cultivating your own relationship. So that's been going on with Dr. Umar. And then DDG posted a tweet or whatever it was. He made a post that said, "Been fighting to see my son for months now. Shout out to the dads who try their best to be there. This shit sucks." And then he went live on his stream basically saying that he wants to be able to see his son when he wants to see his son. He is a father who wants to be a father. Him and Halle haven't been together for a long time. Even before they announced it, he says she's doing her own thing. He's doing his own thing. He's not worried about what she got going on relationship wise. He just wants to be able to be there for his son. Um, he said, I always was the type that said, I don't see how fathers could be present in their children's life. And he was like, I see now it's the mothers. And then he basically was saying that he drove hours to see his son today. And he wasn't even trying to take him. He wanted to just spend some time with him downstairs in Hallie's house. He said they don't really talk that much, like basically alluding to the fact that they're not really on that great of terms. But he said he wasn't going to take his son with him because his baby is sick. So he just wanted to play with him and take care of him, hold him, put him in the shower, get the steam going, and just be active with helping him with his cold or whatever. Um, and he's just saying that he got put out and that she's interfering with him being an active present father. And he said that he's been dealing with this for a long time. So us as viewers, when we see DDG and their baby Halo, it seems like he's always with them. But according to him, he's not always with them. He wants to be able to have access and he doesn't want to have to go to the courts. What it's looking like he may do that. So the comments for him have been, someone said it's kind of hard to believe because it feels every time I turn around I see them together. Um, she probably don't want that camera in his face every single time. Yeah, I don't think Halle is as innocent as people think she is. She probably be giving him hell. And that was another thing that he said. He said that she has this golden image that he himself has been trying to protect and uphold as well. But he just said he can't do it anymore. Another lady said, DDG, you be having that baby around any and everybody though. This is my nightmare. This is my nightmare. Poor Halle. The baby's safety comes first. Having him on live stream 90% of the time around God knows who is not safe. She mentioned that before, and he still did it anyway. Never heard nothing negative about her until she got a baby daddy. Relationships are so dangerous now. Um, Moral of the story: don't have kids until you're married. They're dragging Anthony Edwards for not wanting his kids. They dragging DDG for wanting to see his kids. Ninjas can't win. Someone else said, I know exactly what type of baby daddy he is. Another lady said, I'm so confused, but you just had him. I don't like how he's making Halle look like a bitter baby mom. Another person said, baby, go to court and get set custody, schedule all this social media podcast talking ain't gonna do nothing. Like, what was the point of you discussing this? You did this to shatter her good girl image. I'm so confused. If you're that upset about it, take it to a judge. Um, Someone else said this has been going on since he was born, but weren't y'all together then? She wasn't letting him see the kid. Wasn't she out of the country and had him all over the live streams? Okay, blah 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 blah. So another person was saying that I was looking at earlier was saying that he probably left out all the other details of what's going on. Like, did he actually call before he came? Did he make sure it was a good time? Is he welcome to spend time with his child at her house in the basement? All of these factors. And I can see it both ways. Like, I can see that, again, I'm just speaking from an outsider perspective because I know people be in the comments talking about you ain't got no kids, you don't need to speak on it, whatever. Um, I think that it's an amazing thing for a man to want to be active and present in his child's life. I wish that it wasn't complicated where parents couldn't come together and get on one accord all the time. Of course, it would be wonderful for co-parenting to always be perfect and everybody to agree, but in real life, that's not the case. So I can also see how sometimes men will leave out the details and it could be some mess. They could have been arguing. I don't know if she feels safe. Not trying to insinuate anything, but there's so many things. Let's just take it out of DDG and Halle, but like co-parenting situations, there's a lot of times where women will shield their babies from their fathers because maybe the father had abusive tendencies with her, or maybe the father is too rough with the child, or there's something that they're doing parenting wise that the mother doesn't agree with, or taking them around people that they don't want around their child, or not, taking care of them in the way that they would take care of them. There's so many different reasons why a woman feels the need to, or mother feels the need to, um, you know, be, I don't want to say hesitant, but to manage how the interactions with other people go, even with the father. So it's just unfortunate because everybody, of course, you want a perfect, harmonious co-parenting situation, but it's not always like that. But I can see both ways. I've seen it both ways. I've seen it where a man is truly putting effort in to see his child, to be present and all of that, and due to frivolous things, unresolved feelings, jealousy, insecurity, whatever the case, from the mother's point of view, she takes it out on the child and the father and hinders their relationship. And then I've seen it where the man is acting as if he's doing so much and he really ain't doing shit but running his mouth, or trying to control the woman, the mother's household, trying to control her through the guise of I'm trying to be a present father. Or, just I've seen it all. I've seen it all. So I'm not going to speak on their personal situation, but just using it as an example of how it can be both ways. So in both of these situations, I've seen comments saying that the mothers are the reasons why men aren't able to be active in their children's lives. I don't go along with that as a blanket statement because there are plenty of women who would love for their children's fathers to be active and present in the children's lives and the dads just not showing up. But for the ones who do want to show up, if there's not any harm being done to the child, I don't agree with like parental alienation and using your child as a pawn. Yeah. So, story time. Because I was a stepmother, I was married at a very early age, and my ex husband has multiple children with multiple women. Don't judge me. This was my younger self. I met him when I was 16. We got married when I was 22. So he had a total of 8 children. Yeah. Six mothers. And when I met him, none of the mothers knew each other. None of the kids knew each other. I was like, I don't like that. I grew up having siblings and not always being in touch with them, even though I knew who they were. Um, I knew who they were and where they were. So I knew where my sister was. She was in a different state. My brother was in the same state as me, and I didn't always have contact with him. I can count on probably one hand how many times I saw my brother growing up. And I had to find him when I turned 18, 19 years old. And then with my sister, I think I met her once when I was like 2 or 3 years old. And then we started talking regularly when I was 14 and she was 19. So I didn't want my stepchildren to grow up knowing that they had siblings and didn't know them. So I made sure that, let's introduce all of them. Let's get on one accord with the mothers as much as we can do. And for the most part, I got along with all of my stepchildren's mothers except for two. And one of them was, you know, I'm not even gonna give the order of it because whatever. It's not important. But I will say that one of his children did not live in the same state as him. And I'm not gonna say that my ex-husband was not a great father when I met him. He wasn't like super active, wasn't really, making sure that he saw his children and talked to his children and spent time with his children. I don't tolerate that. So once I saw what was going on, I knew he had kids. And once we got serious, I'm like, okay, let's start getting them. Let's get on a schedule. Let's be active. Let's take them to school. Let's be a part of raising them, not just, oh, I got some kids. I'm gonna go see this one and that. Like, no, like we're gonna help raise your children. So, um, again, one didn't live in the same state. So as far as closeness and being able to stay in touch and be a part of that child's life, I'm like, if you're not going to be able to go back and forth to see her, you need to be able to talk to her and connect with her. Call her every night, read her story to her, help her with her homework over the phone. Like, call her every day to see how she's doing and talk to her and hear her voice. Like, those are my suggestions. But I will say that our relationship with each other, because it was serious, um, and because her mother still had feelings for him. Not, I'm not saying this because I'm assuming she literally told him, and I had the phone and I saw the message, and she was like, "I act the way I do because I still have feelings for you, and I'm mad at how things worked out between us." And during this time, me and him shared a cell phone, and I just so happened to have it in my hand. And what happened that day, earlier that day, they were arguing about him being able to, like, when he would call his daughter, she would be in the background, yelling out things and telling her, tell him this, tell him that. And it was like angry energy. So he was basically asking her, like, why are you interfering with me getting closer to my daughter? And so that was her response when she texted him. And so, me being who I was back then, instead of me just seeing the message and just letting them handle their own business, I responded. And I was like, this is Asha. And, no, I think I said, this is Asha, honey. And she responded in a way that pissed me off. I think we went back and forth for a little while. Then I called her, stepped out of class. I was in class in nursing school. Stepped out of class, talked for a minute, went back and forth, had some words. It was a mess. So from that point on, it was like she was already beefing with him. and having her issues with him. But then it was like once she started beefing with me, the beef with him was like to the 10th power. So it was a lot of interference. It was a lot of not wanting to allow, his daughter to talk to him and be close to him. And he was upset with me for getting involved with it because he felt like I made it worse, which I probably did. I wouldn't. I ain't gonna say I wouldn't be in that situation again because you never say never. But I choose differently now as a grown woman. But if I ever decided to date someone again that has children, there are certain things that I would not even insert myself with, into. Like, y'all got it. But back then, baby, my man, my man, my man energy. Could nobody tell me nothing. And I got in it. But I will say that I witnessed a lot of using a child as a pawn because of personal feelings. Um, but then I also can understand too her anger because he wasn't the greatest father. He wasn't present. So it was anger there. It was anger that they broke up and then you went on to have all these other kids and now you're with another woman and you got married. So it was just so many things mixed in. But then at the end of the day, the child is the one that suffers from it. So now my stepdaughter is grown. She's mad at me. And my ex-husband was murdered 10 years ago, 10 and a half years ago. We divorced almost 12 years ago. But because of what she's heard over the years from her mom and, just pain, just hurt and pain, it's just a trickle effect. So I do have compassion for people that don't realize the effects of baby mama and baby daddy drama. It doesn't just end when the child turns 18. It keeps rolling over as we see Dr. Umar's daughter is 22 and she's calling him out publicly. This is what happens when adults can't get their shit together and they are arguing, fighting, bickering, not being able to come on one accord for the child. It doesn't just affect them in childhood, it affects them through adulthood. Just like the lady said, she's 33 and her dad is still not putting in effort to connect. So I would just say we got to grow up and do the best that we can and keep the children first priority. Like, of course, their well being is priority. So if either parent is a threat to that, then of course we have to consider what are the safest ways to go about. And everybody's situation is different. There are some people that they have to protect their children from the other parent. Then there's the pop in and pop out parent that, people really go back and forth with themselves about that. I've heard women ask for advice, like when it comes to a father who will show up and then disappear for months or even years. Do you allow him to keep coming back in and out of the child's life, even though that child is yearning for that father and wants the father to be in their lives? The pain of them disappearing is a lot for the other parent to witness. So I've seen mothers and I've seen some fathers who are a primary parent ask, like, should they keep allowing the other parent to keep coming in and out of the child's life, or should they just protect them from that parent and let them, work on their relationship once the child is 18? So it's all complicated. I'm not gonna lie, like just seeing a lot of unhealthy dynamics when it comes to co-parenting and the drama and all of that, it further makes me extra cautious. And then again, there's no way that you can avoid the inevitable. Like we can do the best that we can to be intentional and be selective with the co-parents that we choose, but you just really don't know how someone can shift and change. And a lot of people talk about how things do change when a child is born or when a woman gets pregnant. Things start changing. A woman's energy, her attitude, her needs change. And a man, sometimes his energy, his attitude, and his needs change. And there's sometimes conflict. And it's unfortunate because you'll see, like, oh wow, they were in such a healthy relationship, and then as soon as she got pregnant they broke up, or as soon as they had the baby they broke up, or whatever. So I just really wish that we can have more successful relationships, have better co-parenting dynamics, And the only thing that I can suggest and do is, suggest that individuals do their own work. That's why to me it's so important to have children with people who desire to have children and desire to be present and active, and they you can see them being your child's parent. Like, it's not people just get knocked up and having babies by any old body. Like, that is such a big decision to make. Like, would you want your daughter being like this woman? Would you want your son being like this man? Would you want your daughter having this man as her first example of what a man is? And would you want your son having this woman as the first example of how women should be? um what are their parenting styles? How do they discipline? Because as we as millennials, we hear all this gentle parenting. um I believe in gentle parenting, and I think that people confuse gentle parenting with letting your children punk you or letting your children get away with everything. That's not what that is. It's just about being able to communicate and listen and not put your hands on a child. Because I get it. We were all raised getting our ass whooped, getting snatched up, getting beat, whatever. But that's not cool to me. Corporal punishment is played out, and it's not always effective. Sometimes you feel like you need to snatch a child up because they're out of line, but is it actually as effective as we think it is? It does do psychological damage. There are studies. I know we all grew up with the spare the rod, spoil the child. Um, but when you really think about how most of the time when you're whooping a child, it's because your reaction is anger. Like, they did something, you're angry, you hit somebody. We teach that it's not okay to put your hands on another adult, a man to put his hands on a woman, or a woman to put their hands on a man. Or what would you look like putting your hands on an elderly person? Like, they do something that makes you upset, or they say something and you just start whooping their ass. A child is literally defenseless, and so they're smaller than us, and technically your child can't just fight you back. So when you think about just the effects of putting your hands on a child, it can be damaging. So just finding other ways to discipline. I follow a lot of creators right now, even though I'm not a mother yet, just preparing myself for motherhood. I follow a lot of Black gentle parents, and just listening to their techniques and their methods and seeing their examples, it makes a lot of sense to me. And I've done my own research as well. So when I'm being intentional in my dating journey, and we're talking about future desires like parenting, I want to know, what is your parenting style? Because there's some that are like, I'm beating my child's ass. You hear them talking to children, they call them little ninjas and cussing them out, cussing kids out and talking to them crazy and having them start their day getting yelled at and made to feel small. Like, I'm not with that. So why, when it comes to being intentional with dating, you have to think about those type of things. It's beyond intentional dating, like intentional creating a family. Like, who is this person that you're signing up for to have a child with? Do they have anger issues? um Another thing that's a red flag for me is like certain men that have a certain level of misogyny, where they're very judgmental about women and women's sensuality, or women's expression of themselves and their bodies and things like that. Like, I get some men want modest women, and I understand that. But it's certain things that I've heard men say that makes me think like, if we had a daughter together, and once our daughter starts growing up and starts developing their body and wants to, start wearing form fitted clothes or whatever the case may be, because teenage girls are going to go through that. They're going to start wearing clothes that show off their little boobs or their little hips or their little booties or whatever. And not that I'm saying I want a child that's just wearing inappropriate clothes for their age, but like, certain things make me think like, would this type of man protect my daughter and instill certain principles and values in her, or would he shame her, or try to control her or demean her or belittle her as she is maturing? certain things like that. I'm thinking about my future kids already, y'all. So I think those type of things are important to know what your personal values are, how you would want to raise a child, and does that match with message? Does that match with the person that you are considering having a child with? And then are they able to be a supportive parent? Like as a woman, I'm thinking about a man. Is he able to tap into his nurturing side, not just for the future children, but for me when I'm pregnant? Is he okay with supporting me and catering to me sometimes, or will he be a great supportive partner during labor? All of these things are important, and I don't think a lot of people consider it when they just laying up with folks and getting having babies. They thinking about, oh, my baby would be cute with that hair and that skin color and your eyes, and oh, you got money, my baby gonna be well taken care of. What about the little things like that? What about you know, you're seeing all this crazy stuff about these people being perverts. I just saw a post about a woman who found a daycare worker, 24-year-old daycare worker woman, having inappropriate conversations with her 10-year-old son. So it's not just men that can be predators and creeps. It's some of these women are too. So thinking about like what is how a lot of people ain't never even seen their partner interact with children, and then they go and get knocked up. Like you don't even know if this person is comfortable with kids or if kids are comfortable around them. So I'm not judging nobody. I'm just saying we have to be better when it comes to choosing the people that we're going to have kids with. And of course, again, this is not a blanket statement that means things won't come up. There's people can hide things, people can change, but at least try to do our due diligence when it comes to having children. And of course, the perfect scenario, I ain't gonna say perfect, but if you want to be married and you want children, it would make more sense to wait to have children until you get married versus just saying, I'm gonna just have this child and hope for the best. I think that would raise your chances of having a two-parent household and being able to have, both present parents present. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But just not rushing and not wavering on the things that you want for your future. You have to make sure it's aligning and not just settling just to have a ring or settling just to have a baby, because both of those things are life changing and life altering decisions. So, and as far as the topic about are the mothers the ones to blame, I think everybody contributes. So all I can say is that if you're in a toxic co-parenting relationship, that I just wish the best for you, and I hope that you all can be mature enough to prioritize the children that you brought into this world, not be selfish and just think about how you feel. um, One of the comments said that I wanted to mention is that a lot of men stay in unhappy relationships that have, children with their partner because they don't want to have to be taken away from being able to see their child every day. And I was on a panel a couple of weeks ago. It's still under my live videos. I was on a panel with the love coach of Atlanta, and that was brought up as well. And one of the ladies was saying that she never even considered how, when she broke up with her ex boyfriend or husband, that how he would feel not being able to wake up and be with his child every day. She never even considered that, and that's something that he's struggling with. Um, and I've met a lot of men who have struggled with going from having their family in their household to having to go through things like, I got to ask to see my child, I got to wait and get permission from the mom, I got to go through the courts. So it's devastating for both parties, especially if everybody is an active parent that loves their children. I ain't talking about the deadbeats that's not trying to be a part of their children's lives. So I just wish the best for everybody that's out there that has children to be able to be on one accord, because I've seen what happens when the mess happens as a child and then these kids are growing up. There's a lot of healing that has to take place. There's a lot of anger and pain. And sometimes it's unresolved. Like the example that I gave of my ex-husband's daughter, he's no longer here now to even help her heal through the things that he caused in her life as a child. I don't know how her mother is helping her through that. And then she's a little closed. a lot closed off when it comes to me because of certain reasons. So it's unfortunate, but you have to consider the long term effects of all this baby mama, baby daddy drama. It doesn't stop when the child turns 18, it keeps going. So I wish everybody the best. Um, yeah. So if you all are needing any type of support when it comes to healing, self love, and self discovery, book a call, oshacerese.com. I have workshops. I have one single step at a time. It's a 6-week healing program to help you on your journey of healing, self love, and self discovery. It's guided, it comes with coaching, and it also comes with the How to Beat Single guided journal. If you don't feel like you need as much guidance, just go ahead and grab you a journal, How to Beat Single, and you can do the work on your own. Or if you want to uncover some blockages you may have when it comes to giving and receiving love, 5 Ways in 5 Days is my love language self love program that teaches you how to incorporate your love languages into your daily acts of self love and self care and uncover those blockages. If you don't know where to start, just book a discovery call. It's completely free, and I will help you to figure out which direction you need to go in. Maybe it's not a course or program or a journal, maybe it's just one on one coaching. And again, Dream Doula vibes. I am a strategist. So if you're a creator, creative, influencer, business owner, or you just have some great ideas that you don't know what to do with, and you're trying to figure out how to utilize and monetize your gifts, you can also just book a strategy session. This is for those of you who already have an idea of what you want to do. You just don't know where to start. You might need a content plan, a content strategy, or some support with creating a digital program, digital course, ebook, whatever it is that you need when it comes to strategy and monetizing your gifts, you can just book a strategy session. And for all of the intentional daters, the lovers, the hopeful romantics, make sure you add yourself to the hopeful, the intentional love collective. The intentional love collective is a growing community and database of singles. It allows me to put my matchmaker hat on and pre-select you for extra curated singles mixers, speed dating events. So when you walk into these events, it's not just a bunch of randoms. It is actually people that match your desires, your values, and your preferences. So the Intentional Love Collective can be found in the link of my bio. Add yourself to that if you are single and looking for love in 2025. And let me give y'all some journaling prompts to wrap this evening up. So I want you to, based on what we talked about earlier, reflect on a time when taking a break from a relationship provided you clarity. What did you learn about yourself and your partner? Reflect on a time when when taking a break from a relationship provided clarity. What did you learn about yourself and your partner? Also, is there anything from your childhood that still affects you to this day? I know there's probably several things, but choose one and write about it in your journal. What have I been through in my childhood that has still affected me today? And for those of you who want children, maybe you haven't had children yet and you desire children, or you have children and you are no longer with your um, co parent and you want to have more children, and maybe there's something that you didn't do or you wish you would have done with the first set of children or first child, and you want to do differently next time. Right? What type of parent do you want to be? Write about what type of parent do you want to be and how a potential partner can align with that. So those are the journaling prompts that I'll leave you with for this evening. Thank you all for tuning in. Sorry I had to take a little moment. We live in the woods, y'all. So I was told there might have been an animal in the house, but technically it was just clawing on the walls. So I had to go check, even though I'm not brave, but I had to go look. We're all good. It was not in the house, it was inside the walls. Sometimes every now and then we'll get a raccoon or a squirrel or something to crawl in the hole in the back that they make their little tunnels, and you'll hear them literally crawling in the walls. So we live in the woods of Georgia, y'all, but we good. So I'm getting ready to unwind. It's been a long day. I literally had to hurry up and get this show together. So excuse me if it didn't flow as well because, baby, I just came up with the title or the topic a few minutes before I hopped on. And I was up last night. I would say, I don't even know how late I was up. I was recording the reviews that I promised y'all that I was going to have out today. I got most of them done. They're on the Clock app. But I got to upload them to this channel, the YouTube channel. So that'll be done before the weekend. Episodes 1 to 4 of Ready to Love. Those reviews will be up before the end of the weekend, and then I'm gonna try to review episode 5, which came out today. So give me some grace. I was up late last night, and every technical difficulty that I could have trying to do it kept happening. The app kept messing up. My storage kept being full. I don't know how. I paid so much money for extra storage. My phone is tripping. It was a mess. Sometimes I was recording for like 10 minutes, and then when I pressed stop, none of what I recorded was there. I know we in retrograde season, so things like that happen. But it was a long night, which is why I didn't get all of the videos that I promised y'all out yesterday, but I did try. So before the end of the weekend, I'll have the Ready to Love reviews up on YouTube. If you're here, if you're watching back, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's slowly but surely growing. I appreciate y'all who have subscribed. Let me see where we're at. I'm not at 200 yet. I know I'm at like 175. But when I started my journey, I think I was like at 130 something. So slow and steady. I appreciate all of you all who have subscribed. If you want to catch up on any of the old shows, they're under the live tab. But again, thank y'all for tuning in. I love you. I appreciate you. Have a good night.